I think it is absolutely staggering, shameful, and scandalous that in 2007, oh my goodness, 2007, the police and the CPS apparently knew that another man's DNA was on the clothes of the woman Andrew Malkinson was wrongly imprisoned for raping, yet they left him behind bars for a further 13 years. He spent 17 years in prison, and for most of that time, the police were aware that crime was almost certainly not committed by him. It is deeply, deeply shocking. So the CPS says that his lawyers were told of the new DNA evidence, and further forensic testing was rejected in 2012. Apparently the CCRC was worried about costs. So Mr. Malkinson, who was found guilty in 2003 and the next year was jailed for life with a minimum term of 7 years, and was then expected to serve more time because he refused to concede that he was guilty, although the police by that point knew that he was not guilty. This gets worse and worse and worse. And I don't understand how we can live in a country which is so proud of its tradition of fairness, its tradition of following the law and following the evidence, when the evidence is screaming in our face that this is wrong. So, yes, you follow the evidence to get to the conviction, but if that evidence takes you in another direction, you follow the evidence in that other direction as well, even if a trial has taken place. It's plainly wrong for somebody to have spent 17 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit, number one. But number two, to have spent 13 years in prison when the authorities knew he hadn't committed that crime. That is something that I think must be dealt with at a much higher level. That is something that requires the suing of the CPS, the Home Office, and again we come back to the same thing. Why has Suella Braverman not arranged to meet this man? If I were the Home Office Minister, and I'm not, but if I were, I would be begging this man. I would have my head on the floor in a manifestation of proskinesis, traditional genuflection, begging his forgiveness for the hurt that the state has done him. It's not simply that this is a manifestation of injustice. This is a manifestation of the state's bloody-mindedness, knowing that it had evidence that he was innocent. What an appalling miscarriage of justice. And yet, the Home Office Minister, the Prime Minister, nobody has actually arranged to meet Mr. Malkinson. Why? Why? Because they don't think they can sit there and harangue him?